Hey guys, Shane here from Tank Hunter Miniatures, and today we're looking at another tier list video, this time for Eldari. So, a bit different because Eldar don't actually have a lot of vehicles. I thought they did, they don't. So, I'm going to wrap up Dark Eldar, Drukhari in with them as well. Now, this was a very difficult list to make in the sense I had to do a lot more research. I already knew how good Eldar vehicles were. I've had a lot of experience playing with them and seeing how good they are. So I really had to work out exactly where to draw the line for some of these. Going through the criteria for how we rank these, for cost effectiveness, appearance, support, strength, versatility, and how unique abilities it has. It really became troubling because they're all very good and they all do a lot. So yeah, let's just get into it and I'll explain on the way. So let's start with the Falcon. Now this is primarily one of your most used transports, as well as a very big damage dealer. The pulse laser is often overlooked in favor of the fire prism, but yeah, the pulse laser is really strong. Yeah, the Falcon can really do everything. And yeah, its fire support ability, you're really helping deal a lot of damage when you disembark. So yeah, and its ability to deep strike, this guy can come from any angle, just deliver so much damage, and you know, it's just as tough as any other Eldar vehicle. Yeah, with that, a Falcon can only be S. Like, there's literally no drawbacks to this vehicle. It's amazing. And yeah, the fact it's really fast, it can fly. Yeah, I'd be hard pressed finding a better tank and transport than a Falcon. So next we're looking at the Fire Prism. This is the strongest tank in the game. That's not an opinion, that is fact. This guy, yeah, he just annihilates everything. You know, a prism cannon is great anti-infantry, it's great anti-large. The fact it can shoot through other fire prisms, having multiple fire prisms is amazing. It has all the rerolls. I mean, yeah, as you can imagine, yeah, it's S tier. I mean, yeah, the fire prism is just absolutely fantastic. Alright, now looking at the Night Spinner. So this guy is your basically artillery piece sort of tank, with its ability to fire indirect, deal mortal wounds, its blast, and you would assume, you know, this guy's just anti-infantry. But yeah, with the twin linked and the devastating wounds, like strength 7 is not exactly anti-vehicle, anti-large, but, and yeah, the 0 AP. But yeah, just with the twin linked and devastating wounds, this guy can take out anything. And they did clarify, you know, you can't take out multiple one wounded things with the devastating wound anymore, but that doesn't matter. You can take out large things as well as small things with the Doomweaver, so it's effective against everything, and that is amazing. So yeah, Night Spinner, as you guessed it, S tier again. Now I wasn't sure if I wanted to add the Void Weaver because it is like a land speeder sort of size. It's more of a skimmer than a tank, but it's the closest things these guys are going to have to a tank. Harlequins, you know, they don't optimize use large things, so you know, it's honorary tank in this case. But yeah, Void Weaver is fantastic. Yeah, 4-up invuln save, so even with its low toughness and low armor save, you know, this guy's still going to be able to take some punishment. And the fact it has the smoke keyword, so you can give it the cover bonus to get it to that 3-up save, and you can get it even harder to hit. Like, these guys are survivable. And the fact that they have the haywire cannons, and there's so few things in the game that can actually deal like reliable damage to vehicles. Not only that, but it's devastating wounds to vehicles as well. So you are able to really deal some anti-tank damage with this guy, or just take the prismatic cannon, which is just a small fire prism cannon. So yeah, and a lot of shuriken cannon shots. Yeah, Void Weavers are absolute terrors. I haven't really seen a lot of like high-end Harlequin stuff doing good, because I think the troop squads aren't as good as they used to be, but yeah, Void Weavers are still up there. So Void Weaver, that's an S tier as well. And looking at the last of the Index Eldar, we've got the Wave Serpent. Your classic transport for Eldar. Still, this guy is great. A lot of weapon options, a lot of abilities. Doesn't quite buff the damage of troops inside, but you know, it's got the higher survivability with the invuln save, the ability to do mortal wounds, and yeah, more reliable sort of damage with pretty much everything you bring being twin linked. So yeah, Wave Serpents are still very good value, very efficient as well. So they have to be S tier. And that's where we're seeing the trouble with Eldar. Everything so far is S. Everything they have for tanks is too good. Like I said, there's no drawback. Because you say, well, you know, they're not quite as survivable. And it's like, well, yeah, they have 3 ups. That's pretty good. I mean, a lot of the other stuff have 2 ups, but that's not that big a deal. And you'll say, oh, well, they're only toughness 9. They don't have the higher toughness of 10 or 11. And I was like, that's not a big deal most of the time. There's a big jump. There's not many vehicles. I mean, there's not many weapons dealing damage like 10 or 11. It pretty much jumps from, you know, strength 9 to strength 12 pretty reliable. So the difference between being toughness 9, 10, 11 is pretty insignificant. So being toughness 10, for most purposes, it may as well be toughness 11. It's not going to make that much of a difference. So we really see that, yeah, Eldar just have everything going for them, which is why it was sort of more tricky to make this list, because everything's on top. And I thought, well, maybe the cost effectiveness, maybe that will bring it down. Maybe everything's going to be more expensive in tank form than what you can bring elsewhere, but it really isn't, because if you look at the cost, so a Falcon, you know, that's 140 points. What else can you get for 140 points? Well, you could get, say, a support weapon. You know, that's a big gun. That deals indirect. They're pretty damaging. Everyone was trying to buy them. They're 125. No, a Falcon is just much better than that. Even though, you know, a support weapon can shoot longer and without needing line of sight. No, a Falcon is still better. It can do so much more. You know, what's more expensive? The Fire Prism, the Night Spinners, they're 180. But, you know, what else is 180? Some Wraith Guards, 5 Wraith Guards. And yeah, they're hard to kill, but they're slow and they're short range. You know, that's a no-brainer. Like, the Wave Serpent is cheaper than 6 of the Wind Riders. Wind Riders deal nowhere near as well as a Wave Serpent. So, you know, it goes to show, it's like, it's even more cost effective to bring mostly tanks than to bring something else. So yeah, when I'm putting in S, but like I said, I was trying not to. I was trying not to give everything the highest rating. I was really looking for it, but you have to. It's just too good. But yeah, as you can see, but we'll look at the other stuff and then we'll compare. So going into Forge World models, we'll start looking at the Warp Hunter. So the Warp Hunter, I think, is a really cool model. I love it. I love the giant gun down the center. Yeah, I've always been a fan of this guy. I think he's really cool. However, you sort of see the Forge World effect come into play, because on paper, yeah, the devastating wounds on the D-Flail, and yeah, its ability to just hurt things without even needing to hit with its torrent ability, that's pretty cool. That's very unique. That's something it can only do. But it's not that strong. It can't one-shot a lot of things, you know, as well as the Fire Prism. And it's a lot cheaper, but it's about the same price as a Falcon. And a Falcon, I feel, does a lot more damage than a Warp Hunter, especially because, yeah, a Warp Hunter does more devastating wounds. It's a really strong weapon, a lot of AP, but it's just not as reliable. So yeah, if you could take a Falcon or the Warp Hunter, you're going to take the Falcon. It's so much more useful than the Warp Hunter. So, and yeah, the deflail, that's strong. Like I said, that's really strong. But the fact is, it's really wasted. Because, yeah, it's got the Blast template. But with only D3 attacks, this thing's not going to be taken out. Like, you wouldn't be taking out big infantry block. You'd be taking out, like, maybe Terminators. Like, Terminator squads. Something where you can really take advantage of it. The fact that it does 3 damage at AP 4. Yeah, and Strength 12. Like, yeah, it'd be hard to find a real good target to bring a Warp Hunter. So Warp Hunter, that's just B. That's just that's a B tier. Alright, so looking at the Lynx. The Lynx is essentially a Fire Prism that's been really hitting the gym hard. I wouldn't say he's fully on steroids, but, you know, this guy is the next level. Bigger, with the invuln save, so, yeah, more wounds, and it didn't slow down. It's so fast as well, regardless of, yeah, its larger size and weaponry. The Lynx Pulsar is insanely good. Yeah, the only thing it can't really do super well, I guess, is taking out a lot of smaller targets, but just, you don't need it to. Why would you even look at that? So, yeah, and the price, it's the same price as the Fire Prism. That shouldn't be. This thing is bigger, stronger, but why is it the same price? I don't understand Forge World sometimes. I mean, last edition, this thing was, yeah, almost double the price that it is now, and it definitely, I think, it should be a bit more expensive than this, but, you know, talk to Forge World, I don't get it. But, yeah, it just loses with points because it doesn't really support anything. It's just doing its own thing. So this is an A tier still. Yeah, Lynx is a beast. And lastly, of the Forge World, we're looking at the Hornet. The smaller tank, the smallest one for the Eldar, not including the Harlequins. So this is a great little tank. These are fun. You just bring them with the big guns. They fly around, really effective. Like, they've just got the lower toughness and wounds, but that's still good. Like, you can still hold up a lot with this. Yeah, the pulse laser's good, but yeah, you may as well just go the Bright Lance just for more higher strength, just so they can be sniper sort of units. And something I completely forgot when I ran my all Eldar tank list was these guys actually do mortal wounds when they fly over infantry. I completely forgot about that. I could really been using that to effect. So yeah, these guys are so unique. They got so much ability. They're only 100 points as well. This is so cheap again. So yeah, definitely Hornets. Same thing as the Lynx. This is A tier. So that is something I do admire with Forge World. These things are a lot more. They've got downsides and they've got sort of upsides. So they're much more unique in what they do. They haven't just buffed them into oblivion. They're insanely powerful, but they have drawbacks to them. They're not doing everything. So I can appreciate Forge World for that, but I do think they're under points costed. They'd still be good with a bit more increase, but it would just make more sense. So yeah, A tier for this guy. And last for the Eldar, we're looking at the Firestorm, which has been made Legends, which I think it was last edition too. It was still in Legends. I made a video a while ago about it, but yeah, this guy still has rules for reasons. Yeah, I always said this was kind of a dumb tank, but its rules wise is actually not bad. So yeah, I mean, because the scatter laser it's got 16 attacks. It's a lot of attacks, and when it overwatches, it can shoot like 3 separate things. So you can scour the skies with this. It's actually not bad. And yeah, having the anti-fly 2 up, so I was like, yeah, it's only strength 5. It's no AP, but yeah, you could take out even a large flying thing just with that volume of shots, and just make it roll ones. Eventually it's going to roll some ones and have some damage dealt. And it's actually not too expensive as well, so it's kind of fun. It does lose points because it just looks stupid. It's a stupid model. It's just really lazy if you look at it. They've just stuck extra scatter lasers just onto it's so lack of effort. It also loses points for versatility, because this thing is only really, well, it's affecting just the fly things. I mean, it's a lot of shots, so 16 shots, a strength 5. You could take out a big infantry squad. You could. So it's only very light mass infantry and flying things, which I guess isn't bad, but yeah, it's not really the most versatile thing, and that's what it's meant to do, be anti-fly. So yeah, the 5 Storm, that's B tier. That's what you would expect. So yeah, but not as terrible as I thought it was. So yeah, maybe bring it, see what happens. So now we're moving on to the Drukhari, the Dark Eldar. And this was something I had to do a lot of research. I had to ask a lot of people about, because I don't actually play them. I haven't actually fought them at all this edition. I haven't seen anyone really use it. It was hard to get the research from people. But yeah, overall I got some good information. So we'll start with the Raider. So, and I thought on paper, I was like, oh, Raider, that must be pretty good. You know, big firing deck, that's pretty strong. But not really, because of course, the thing with Dark Eldar, I'm told, is you want to try and mass your Dark Lances. If it has a lot of Dark Lances, it's good, and you know, your higher strength weapon. A lot of the other stuff isn't really worth bringing. So yeah, I thought, you know, a Raider's cheap as well, but for the same price of a Raider, about at, 90 points, that's going to get you a lot of, that's a Talus, and a Talus is actually going to hold the line, it's going to be able to handle stuff. When you're really looking for something that can do damage and other things, for Dark Eldar, you're going to want to look at, like, the Scourges. So 5 Scourges, that's 110 points, and that's got a Dark Lance, a Heat Lance, it's got all these cool weapons. They have an invuln save, a 5-up invuln save, well, the Raider's only got a 6-up invuln save now. So the Raider is really weak. Like, it's weaker than it's ever been. So the fact you can definitely value something a lot more than transport, and I guess the only real things you'll be transporting is, say, Incubi, which aren't really worth bringing, I'm told. Not only because melee stuff is not that good this edition, but they've really dropped off. So the only thing really you'd be bringing is the Kabbalite Warriors, and even they're pretty average rated, I'm told. So yeah, the Raider's kind of not something you'd utilize, but I mean, it still does what it does. It supports, it's got a good firing deck. So Raider's B. It's just B because, it does its job well, but you want to be bringing something else. So looking at the better version, we're looking at the Ravager. So of course, that's just your Raider, but of course it can't transport units, but instead it's just got the extra guns on it. And that's what you want it to be, just this really fast gun platform. Dark Lances are great, its ability to eradicate the foe, so its rerolls are super good. So yeah, the Dark Lance ship, it's really good, and it's pretty well cost effective. Like I said, you'd get away with bringing some Ravagers, because they're still going to hold up pretty well, really fast. So yeah, Ravagers, that's A tier. So that's not a bad choice. And funnily enough, that's it for what's in the index. It's something I did mention, it's quite strange for Dark Eldar. They've been around for, it's a long army, it's been around a long time. They have a very small roster to draw from, and it's one of those sort of things where it's really been neglected in a way, and I'm not sure why exactly, because I have seen, in times when Dark Eldar have been, pretty hot in the meta, a lot of people tend to have the army, so I think they're selling okay, but yeah, they just feel like it's very limited what they do, but anyway, so we'll go to Forge World, and of course the Tantalus, and this is a pretty big guy. I've always liked the Tantalus, how it looks. It seems like you should be bringing this guy, which is, and that's probably hard for being Forge World. It's not going to be the most cost effective for people to buy, but yeah, I'm told by people that Tantalus is really something you should, if you have it, you should bring it. Because there's a lot more, it's tougher. It's got the 5-up involved, which is great. Oh man, it does the mortal wounds abilities, the scything charge. That is crazy good. You can take out so much with that thing. Pulse disintegrator. That's a lot of shots that just good against everything. You could take out smaller tanks with it, just the massive shots. Really great in combat. Yeah, this guy is Tantalus is a beast, and yeah, that much open top space. The 16 firing deck. You can load this guy up with your Cabalites and just deep strike him in, and you're doing a lot of damage. So yeah, Tantalus, that has everything. So Tantalus is S. But yeah, it's going to be hard to get your hands on for a lot of people, but definitely if you were going to be trying to do like a Raider spam, you got to have a Tantalus. And lastly, looking into Legends, we've got the Reaper. And this is a big shame, because this is a good tank as well, because just like the Ravager, this has a really unique attack with the Vortex Projector, being able to change its profile to be like a... I mean, it is like a fire prism in a way. That's really cool. It's pretty good damage dealer, but yeah, it's basically the same as a Ravager, just with a different gun, which is still really good though. So yeah, Reaper and Ravager, same level, same A tier. And of course the Reaper is going to be able to do more in close combat as well. So I'd give it maybe a little bit higher potential, but yeah, no, it's a shame they don't make the Reaper anymore, because it's definitely worth having as well. Alright guys, so that's the end of the list. As we can see, a lot of S tier. Yeah, Eldar vehicles are just super good. Do with that information what you will. I'm not exactly sure what this means. Like when they get a codex, do they need to be less? Something? Do they need to have more drawbacks? I don't know. I'm not in charge of writing them, and that's one of those jobs I don't think I want to have, because I'm sure I would upset everyone just by changing anything. So I don't envy the man in charge of writing that codex. So yeah, let me know what you think. Let me know what your experiences are using these guys. Like I said, I had no real experience with the Dark Eldar, so hopefully I got that right. Please let me know. And yeah, I'll work out another one and hopefully have that out next week. So thanks for watching, and I'll see you soon.